A glimpse into the lives of artists, authors, and influencers, discussing sincere moments, shareable stories, and unfiltered memories. Let's take a snapshot with Mary DeMuth. John 4 speaks about the Samaritan woman who was involved with sexual immorality. Jesus did the supernatural thing. He forgave her. This passage illustrates many things. How Jesus responds to people living in sin, how Jesus responds to women, the influence one person can have on their community. Those are just a few. Can you provide us with some context on this story, and what is like one important theme you can walk away from?
Well, what I love about this story is it's not just about a woman, and it's not just about a woman that's had a lot of husbands. It's actually about a Samaritan woman. And Jesus, who is omnipresent, and he is, he's all-knowing, he meant to go there. He meant to meet this woman. This was an appointment. And the disciples, when they came back after he had been interacting with this woman, were like, why are you interacting with a Samaritan and a woman and a known sinner and all these things? And so that's what I think is beautiful about the story, is that he already knew that this was going to happen. This was predestined in a sense, that he just knew that he was going to have this intersection. And she actually becomes the first the first minister to the Samaritans. She goes and runs to her village. She's so excited, and she says, come hear a man that told me everything about myself, which means that the encounter wasn't shame-filled. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I did all these things. He said, yeah, I know this, but somehow she had hope, and somehow there was redemption, and they talk about who is the true worshiper, and is it on this mountain or is it on this mountain? No, the true worshipers worship him in spirit and in truth, and he saw something in this woman, that she was going to be this true worshiper, this evangelist to these people who had been so hated, so marginalized. It's a beautiful story for today. We are mired in racism. We are mired in the marginalization of women. And so in all of that sense, this story is very important because he elevates them. And as I said, she runs back and she says, come see this man. And then they say to her, well, we used to believe in him because of what you had said and this miraculous encounter that you had, but now we believe in him because we've met him and we've seen him. And so that encourages me personally, that we just need to tell people about what has Jesus miraculously done in our own lives. We need to be brave like that woman and not care what people think and say, yeah, I did this, and yes, this happened, but Jesus redeemed me. And then we bring Jesus to them, and then they can say, well, I was believing and thinking about him because of what you said, but now I've encountered him. And so just the context of all that and the richness of Jesus dignifying this woman who he should not have been talking, as a Jew, he should not have been talking to a Samaritan. As a man, he should not have been talking to a woman in the heat of the day. And yet he still had the longest recorded conversation between Jesus and another human being in Scripture is with the Samaritan woman, an outcast who was, not like, you wouldn't choose her as like the pinnacle of the evangelist that you want to have, and he chose her. And that to me is an encouragement for anybody who has felt like they're on the outside.